Hello kids, how are you all? Today, on this auspicious day of Mahashivratri, I have brought a very beautiful story about the Shiv. So Mahashivratri is an annual festival dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva and is particularly important in the Shivism tradition of Hinduism. So let's begin with this beautiful story. In the Treta Yuga, there lived a hunter by the name of Billa. He was very cruel, impatient, and short tempered person. His only job was to hunt deer and sell their meat. And sometimes he even used to hunt without any reason. As a result, he had accumulated lots of sins in his life. Once, the family members of the hunter informed him that there was no food left in the house and he must go and hunt some animal, only then he will there get to eat something. Hearing this, the hunter went to the forest with his bow and arrow. He roamed around and the entire forest the whole day but couldn't find a single animal to kill. Tired and dejected, the hunter reached a pond in the middle of the forest. On seeing the water body, the hunter thought to himself, I should wait near this pond because when the sun will set, all animals will come here to drink water and then I will easily hunt them. The hunter then collected some water in case he felt thirsty and climbed the nearby bell tree, that is a wood apple tree. Slowly time passed by and it was the first quarter, that is the Pratham Prahar of the night, when the hunter suddenly saw a deer approaching the pond. As the hunter began to take him, his body shook and some bell leaves and some water from his sack fell on the Shivlinga just below the tree. Ashutosh Mahadev Shiva was pleased and accepted the offering of bell leaves and water from the hunter. And as Mahadev was contented by the inabundant offering of the hunter was absolved of all his sins. The deer saw the tree shake and spotted the hunter taking aim and thought, today my death day is certain at the hands of this hunter. Just before the hunter could let loose the arrow, the deer cried out loudly in a human voice, Oh hunter, why are you going to kill me? The hunter was absolutely astonished to hear the deer speak. The hunter replied, My family is starving back at home. I will kill you and then my family can satisfy their hunger with your meat. The deer was extremely happy on hearing the words of the hunter and said, This is such an honor that my meat will be used of some humans. I couldn't be any happier more. But, oh hunter, please give me some time. I will drink some water, go back to meet my family, and then will come back to you. I have my husband, sister, and 2 children back at home. I need to see them once, and then I will come back to you, after which you kill me and feed your family. The hunter laughed out loud and said, If I let you go, we'll never come back here again. The deer serenely replied, The mountains, river, goats, are all the embodiments of truth and relentlessly fulfill their duties. I too will do so. If I don't, I will be burdened by a great sin equal to the sins committed by a wife when she disobeyed her husband, equal to the sins committed by a person when he becomes ungrateful and when he doesn't worship the great Lord Hari and when he causes harm to others. I will be burdened by all these sins then. On listening to these beautiful words of the deer, the hunter was assured that the deer will surely come back to him as promised. The hunter then said to the deer, Okay, you can go meet your family, but you must come back to me then. The deer was delighted and thanked the hunter and left to meet her family. In this way, the Pratham Prahar of the night passed. On letting the deer go, the hunter was freed from hatred and malice in his heart. The first quarter of the night was over, and the hunter still waited atop the bell tree after the deer left. After some time, the sister of the deer came to the pond in her search. The hunter shook in joy as he saw the deer coming, and again the tree shook, and some bell leaves fell on Shivlinga below, and some water from the hunter's pouch fell on Shivlinga. In this way, the Shiv Puja in the second Prahar or the second quarter of the night was completed unknowingly. The deer now noticed the hunter talking and aiming at her. He She knew her death was certain. She cried out loudly, "Oh hunter, why are you killing me?" The hunter told the deer about the state of her family and how her meat will appease their hunger. On hearing the words of the hunter, the deer was delighted but asked the hunter for some time as she had to visit her family once. After which she will surely come back to the hunter. The hunter was not pleased. "If I let you go, you will not come back." Another deer had said the same thing and left, and she didn't come back again. "No, I will not let you go." The deer then said, "Believe me, O hunter, I will come back to you. I swear on it. If I don't come back, then I will bear the burden of sins equaling the sin caused by a husband who leaves his devoted wife and is attracted to other women. The sin of a person who talks of Lord Shiva while being a devotee of Vishnu, and the sin caused by a person who does no offer memorial service to parents. O hunter, if I don't keep my words, I will be burdened by all these sins." On hearing the words of the deer, the hunter let the deer go. In this way, the second prahar of the second quarter of the night passed. After some time, a stout deer was seen approaching the pond. He was the husband of the first deer and was in search of his wife and sister-in-law. On seeing the stout and healthy deer approaching the pond, the hunter set his arrow and took him determined to kill the deer this time. But as the hunter moved to set his arrow, the branch shook and some bell leaves and water fell on the Shivlinga below, and so unknowingly the hunter offered puja to Lord Shiva in the third prahar of the night. The deer now noticed the hunter sitting atop the tree and said, "I know you are going to kill me, that my death is now certain. But why?" The hunter told the deer how his family had no food back at home, and by killing a deer he intended to satiate their hunger. The deer too was delighted on hearing the hunter's story and was happy knowing his meat would fulfill the hunger of humans. But he asked for some time from the hunter to meet his family once. The hunter was not willing to let the deer go this time, as he was sure that the deer, like the other two before him, would not come back. The deer then said, "O hunter, a person who doesn't live up to his words is a liar, and liar is a great sin. If I don't live up to my words, I will bear the sin of a person who copulates in the evening, the sin of not fasting on Shivratri, the sin of a person who bears false witness, and the sins of stealing others' wealth, the sin caused by a Brahman who doesn't worship in the evening, the sin of taking what doesn't belong to you. O hunter, if I don't come back, I will bear all these sins. Believe me, I will come back." And so the hunter let this deer go. Back at the house of the deer, one by one, all the three deers arrived and shared their story. The first deer said, "I must be the one to go to the hunter, as I was the first to give my words." She turned toward her sister and said, "Take care of my children in my absence." Her sister said, "I will take care of your children, but I have no experience of taking care of young ones. So you should stay for the sake of your children, and instead I will go back to the hunter." The third deer, that is the father deer, who was the head of the family, then said, "Listen, I have no experience of taking care of children, and the children cannot stay without their mother, so I should be the one to go." The whole family was engulfed in a grief, and it was impossible for them to decide who should go back to the hunter. So they decided that all the three of them will go back to the hunter, and keeping the children in the custody of their neighbors. The three deer again made their way back to the pond where the hunter was anxiously waiting for him to kill. On seeing three deer coming back to him, he couldn't believe his eyes. His delight and had no bound. Shaking with delight, the hunter prepared his weapon of kill, and as he did so, the tree again shook, and again a few bell leaves and some water fell on the Shivlinga below. In this way, the hunter unknowingly offered puja in all the 4 prahars of Shivratri, and in an instant all his sins were washed away, and he received the blessing of Lord Shiva. Now, as he saw the 3 deer approaching the pond, his mind was filled with repentance, and he thought to himself, "I have committed such a heinous sin my whole life, and on the other hand, the simple, sober animals are filled with compunctions, self-sacrifice, and kindness. All my life, I have thought only about myself without caring back for others or anyone else. Shame on me. I will not kill any animal anymore. The hunter asked three deer to return back to their home and begin to repent for his sin. At that point in time, the hunter's mind was free from malice. Suddenly, Lord Shiva emerged from the Shivlinga and appeared in front of him. Lord Shiva said to the hunter, I am pleased by your puja. You have stayed awake in the four prahar of the night and worshipped me with water and bell leaves. I am pleased by your offering, and I will grant you whatever boon you may wish for. The hunter said, O dear Lord, on receiving your darshan, on seeing you standing in front of me, all my desires have been fulfilled. I have nothing more to ask for. Lord Shiva smiled on hearing the words of the hunter and said, Bila, you are now free from malice and all the lowly quality of the mind. You have all my blessings. You have transcended to a divine state. You are now pure and enlightened human being. From now onwards, you will be known as a Guha. You will be the lord of the state and your family will prosper for generations to come. And one day, Lord Rama, the son of Dasrath, will come to you. Worship him with utmost devotion and you will receive indescribable blessing. This is the tale of Guha, the friend of Lord Rama. So Guha stayed by the side of Lord Rama during his exile and Rama used to address him as my dear friend. The three deers received the darshan of Lord Shiva there and they left their mortal physical body and ascended to the heavenly heaven. Lord Shiva then left for Arbudachal where he resided in the form of Vyateshwar Mahadev. So this is the very beautiful story about how Shivratri is celebrated. The story is very beautiful and very nicely elaborated. So till we meet again, you all have a happy Shivratri and Om Namah Shivaya. So let's worship the very beautiful God Lord Shiva on this auspicious night and make yourself the sin free and have lots of blessings from Lord Shiva. Goodbye, good night, and do take care of yourself.